Sahaja Samadhi is a little bit of a difficult terminology, but okay, it exists and it has a meaning and it has an existence, so I can explain it. But it is a little bit a difficult terminology because we are combining two words which are in a way opposite. The basic definition of Samadhi is that we are absorbed inside. In Samadhi we no longer hear what is going on around us. We are totally inside. And Sahaja Samadhi then is literally translated as natural Samadhi, which means a kind of Samadhi which stays even when a person is living life normal way, talking, eating, walking, whatever. So in that way it's a little bit like contradictory, because how can you walk if you are in a state of Samadhi? So what is meant by it is that when a person attains some really deep states of meditation, some really deep Samadhi, now I've explained that there are actually many layers also there, then when coming out of it, somehow it stays. And what stays then, of course, is that this person has so much let go of all individuality that he is impossible to imbalance. Always part of his attention, part of his awareness is centered inside, just like a person who would be in deep Samadhi. But still he is able to talk and walk and do all things naturally. But this is happening in a totally natural, automatic way, you can say. Something needs to be said, okay, the mind and the mouth, they take care of it. One foot needs to be put in front of the other, okay, that is something anyhow we do, no? In that way it's maybe the most easy to explain it. When we walk, we don't think about it, right? We just walk. It just happens. There is some direction we want to go, and the feet, the legs, they do the job. And part of mind is involved in that, and but we are actually not very much or not at all involved in that. So Sahaja Samadhi means the same thing for life in its totality. It is definitely something which exists, but as I say, in terms of terminology, is a little bit difficult. And to some degree also, one might say that we are all in natural Samadhi. We may feel that we are not, but actually, yeah. All the things that we do, all the things that we think, all the things that we feel are natural. And somehow the self is always there in Samadhi and moving, always. And everything else just happens. So it mostly describes a highly evolved being, and tries to somehow explain how they function. Yeah. Although, of course, when we just use the word natural state, then we just might mean, like the state of a child, which is also really naturally, moving through life and playing and running and. So, with the term Sahaja Samadhi, we really want to make a distinction between normal people and people who are really very evolved, and so, yeah. But you could also say it in different ways, I mean, you can say that a person who is highly evolved like that has no more personal agenda, has no more personal desire, has no more unhappiness, These are other ways to explain what it means to reach some kind of state. No? Sahaja Samadhi, in a way, it depends on the scripture actually how this term is used. But Sahaja Samadhi, in a way, is used to explain how people that are enlightened function in life. Because when enlightenment comes, okay, some actually, they just leave the body as a result of that. That is then called Maha Samadhi. But some also just stick around. But they just operate like naturally, yes. If the body is hungry and food is put in front of them, they will eat it. But if food is not there, they will not care. Even if the body is producing feelings of hunger. So, but as I said, very difficult to understand how these people function. Impossible actually. So then also to really say what is Sahaja Samadhi is very difficult. In any case, Sahaja Samadhi is not like an alternative to Samadhi. And some people try to present it like that. Those who have trouble meditating, they like to hear the story that, oh, actually, there's no need. Just be a natural Samadhi. Just be naturally. That is not Sahaja Samadhi. No? That is just a little different way of being, maybe more detached. No? But one cannot call that Samadhi. Samadhi means that we are really limited for a time to the self only. There's the process of going in and the process of going out, where other parts, so to say, of the subconscious, of the soul, etc., they play a role, which is also part of Samadhi. But in the deepest state of Samadhi, only the self is there. Only pure conscious energy, beingness is there. That is not something which is actually possible while still moving about and doing things, except, okay, maybe for a person who is enlightenment, which is difficult to talk about, because how can you understand it if you are not? And the ones who are, or who claim to be enlightened, they usually also have a hard time to explain it, what it really means. But okay, they'll try to give people some idea. It will always be just words,